So compatibility can be looked at in your numerology. So in numerology, we can look by decoding your date of birth, your energy, and also the compatibility with you and somebody else's energy. So in order to do that, what we will need, obviously, is your date of birth and that potential partner or that partner's date of birth. And then what we'll do is look first and foremost at your life path number, and then we'll look at the partners or potential partners' life path number. And we do that by basically adding up the numbers of the date of birth. So say you're born on the 6th of May 1990. You would add up 6 plus 5, and then you would add up the year 1 plus 9 plus 9, and you would put them all together. So in this case, we would get we would add them all up, and we would get that one number. And then that number is then, the life path number. And we'll do that then for your partner. And then we will add those two numbers together, and we'll look then at what number gets created, what number is then formed. And within numerology, every number has a positive and negative, gifts, resources, challenges, obstacles. So it's not like there's one number that's sort of like the best one to have so much. It's more like each relationship has opportunities for growth, and we can look at what those opportunities are. We can look at where the strengths in the relationship are, where the weaknesses are, where we need to perhaps work on our relationship, and where we perhaps need to embrace those more positive aspects of our relationship. So in order to find out your life path and compatibility, you do really need that date of birth. So what I'm going to do now is just share an example of a basic numerological compatibility reading. And for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to make this very, very, very easy. So we've got partner A, who's born on the 1st of the 1st, 1991. And then we have partner B, born on the 2nd of the 2nd, 1991. So what we would do with partner A is we would add up 1 plus 1, 1st of the 1st, and then 1991. So 1 and 9 is 1, and 9 and 1 is 1. So we break it all down to single numbers. So we would have 2, 3, 4. So their life path, partner A, is 4. 1 plus 1, and then 1 and 9 is 1, and 1 and 9 is 1. Well, it's 10, but we get rid of the zeros and it's 1. So we have partner A as 4. We then move to partner B. We look at their numerology. We add up their date of birth, 2, 2, and 191. So we've got 4, 5, and 6. So we've got 6 for life path for partner B. So we then look at how does life path A work with life path B, which is 4 plus 6, and we get the number 10, and we can put that down to 1. So this talks about this being a relationship associated with learning about yourself. 1 is dealing with the identity, it's dealing with the self, it's dealing with new beginnings. So this relationship could bring about a lot of development on personal levels, and it could also be a different type of relationship to what either of these people have perhaps experienced before. It might be about having to think about, this relationship might ask those big questions, to think about what you really want to have and who you really are. It could perhaps be, in some senses, quite karmic, because it's dealing with lessons, it's dealing with learning, it's dealing with understanding yourself first and foremost. And of course, all relationships, are about our own growth as well, ultimately. But this one, this combination is really, I would say, being encouraged to, it's almost like focus in on your relationship with yourself first and foremost, and look at what needs to change, what needs to be worked on. So it's a really interesting relationship reading in this sense, because it tells me that maybe it's a lot about learning, and understanding yourself. Probably with a relationship like this, there could be some challenges, there could be some power struggles, you both could be quite strong people, there could be a strong energy that gets formed in this relationship, but it might be about having to sort of like understand, who you are, where you are. And the thing with, learning, and growing, we learn and grow from obstacles and challenges. So I wouldn't say that this is a relationship that's going to be probably the most smooth sailing one, but with every obstacle comes opportunity to grow and evolve, and really move then into the potential for a strong relationship. So that's how a numerological reading works. We look at those numbers, we find those numbers out, and then we add them up, and then we look at the energy and we look at the connection of that number, and we look at the positives of that, we look at the negatives of that, and we kind of get a sort of an assessment then to what they need to work on together, where their strengths are, and what challenges are there. And ultimately, in this case, for that relationship reading, it was a powerful relationship. It created an empowerment for both of them and an opportunity to really grow. So that's a little bit about, a compatibility reading and how you can do a compatibility reading. I recommend, finding out your life path number, finding out your partner or potential partner's life path number, and then adding them up and having a look at the number that you get and finding out about that number, and then looking at what opportunities, what gifts are there, and what things you have to work on with that as well. So yeah, that's how we look at compatibility in a numerological reading.